Good morning, welcome to Nigeria Now, showing on your digital first Pan-African news network, TOS Television. My name is Merciful Ajinamo. On the newspapers this morning, we have big stories, and of course, analyzing them in the studio is Adebayo Fajmi. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We begin with the Nation newspaper, and the big story. The banner headline is EFCC arrest federal government's top accountant over 80 billion naira fraud. The writers say money laundering in real estate suspected, and AGF faces allegation of overstaying in office. This is continued on page 4 of the Nation newspaper. How do you react to this news, talking about the most important accountant in Nigeria being suspected to have been engaged in this fraudulent activity?
Yeah, of course, I believe the EFCC are doing what is expected of them. They are trying their best. Let me just put it that way. They are trying their best. But, it's just very unfortunate that, as they are trying their best, we don't have, a sane, or let me say, a cost of justice, that we actually, avail their best, to the Nigerian citizen. Because, for instance, if you have been following, what is happening, recently, you will discover that, we are not really fighting corruption. Now, fine, if they have discovered, that, he has embezzled that, huge amount of money, of course, let him be prosecuted. Let them, carry out, their thorough investigation and let him be prosecuted. But the question is, how are we sure that he will face the course of justice? How are we sure that, this case will not be like the one we are used to? And I don't forget, recently, we saw how, President Muhammadu Buhari gave a pardon, to corrupt people, and, fighting corruption is not really the issue, but the cause of justice. How making these people to face the wrath of law, to ensure that they are being put to shame. No matter how big you are, of course, if you know that if you do a certain thing, you know the consequence, you know what will be unleashed on you. So if we are not doing that, if you are just saying we are arresting people and you take them to court, they're happy they do this, and at the end of the day you don't even hear anything about it, of course it will never serve as a good example, to those people who are coming behind, because they will know fully well that, if they do it, the least that could happen is, they'll just make mouth in the media, and at the end of the day you will not know anything about it again, and you go ahead in life and enjoy your money. So it's a good one in terms of for EFCC, for making this effort, but at least they should ensure that they should carry out thorough investigation, and if found guilty, of course he should face the full wrath of law.
All right, that story is on the Nation newspaper. From the very top, we see Silva Talin opt not to resign. That story comes on page 4 of the Nation. Besides that, Supreme Court to hear appeal on Section 84, subsection 12, Thursday. That's on page 27 of the Nation newspaper. We move over to Blueprint newspaper this morning, and the big story is investigation why Malami Talin Silva Ngige may not return to office after resignation. We have a couple of writers there, but that story is on page 6 of the Blueprint newspaper. We've been speaking about this issue of resigning and not resigning, stepping out so you can face your political ambition and everything. And now we're having some names coming out to the front pages of the newspaper. What's your reaction to this?
If the party really want to do, what is good, they should, really, adhere strictly to the party constitution. And, unless, like I used to say, unless, some people are made, as scapegoats, it will not serve as deterrent to other people. Because, if you see these people, already last week, President Muhammadu Buhari had valedictory meeting with them, and he ordered them, to resign. And you now see some of them now, making a U-turn that, they are not contesting again, dropping their ambition. Number one is that, they have had a valedictory meeting with the president, and according to the party constitution, you must resign as a political appointee 30 days before the party primary. Some of them just, disclosed that last week. I think the only person among them, who have done that, to meet up with the party constitution is a Minister of State for Education, Nwajuba. So he's the only one. Now, and from what we are hearing is that, after that valedictory service, and President Muhammadu Buhari told them, point blank that, see, no going back. And now you are saying you want to come back. So, but you know, in Nigeria, like I used to say that, you know, nothing is impossible. So there are some things that we think in some society that it is impossible, but in Nigeria they are very possible. But I expect the party, you know, to really, you know, stand, you know, their ground to ensure that, you know, most of these people, you know, face the consequence. If you know you are not in for, you know, you are not in for what you are countering, so why are you coming out? Why are you just, you know, making mouths and, you know, causing distraction, you know, here and there? So I think the party should really do what is needful so that, you know, that can serve an example, you know, to other people coming behind.
All right, that story is on page 6 of the Blueprint newspaper. Then the lower banner says 2023 Malagi promises to reconstruct Bida Mina Road. That's on page 5 of the newspaper. We move over to, of course, the Nigerian News Direct. Before we go to the News Direct, let's look at the front page of Daily Trust. The big story is 2023 presidency push for northern candidacy heightened in APC. That big story is on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. And of course, the lower banner also, you know, is coming still on Daily Trust and the Nation newspaper. EFCC arrest Accountant General Idris over 80 billion naira fraud. We've spoken about that story. Let's go back to the big story on Nigerian News Direct. And of course, it's alleged 80 billion naira fraud reactions. Trail arrest of AGF Ahmed Idris. From the very top, we see Lagos State government condemns Lekki lynching, calls for calm. That's on page 3 of the Daily Nigerian News Direct's paper. Of course, we've heard this before, talking about, you know, calling for calm and, you know, justice to be met and everything. But really, what is your take? Yesterday you said it's not all about condemning the act alone. It's about doing something. Do you share a similar opinion here?
Of course, I still do. Merciful, if you watch the video of, you know, the wife of the deceased, you will weep. You know, I watched it and I was like, you know, what is happening in our country? That people could just wake up and just do what they like at any point in time. You know, just because of 100 naira. Even if it is, I don't know that amount of money that could have led, you know, to setting, you know, a fellow human being ablaze just like that, just because of 400 naira. So I think, you know, our leaders, our political leaders, our policy makers should, you know, try to set up a very good course of justice that will ensure that you cannot, no matter who you are, you cannot just wake up and say, okay, I just want to do what I like. You know, it is uncalled for in a democracy in this century. So it's very unfortunate that, you know, we are still experiencing something like this. And if this is a young man, the wife is also young, and if you look at the children also, in fact, I was just like, you know, is this the country of my dream? Is this the country that everybody is dreaming, you know, to live in? So condemning this act, you know, like I said yesterday, that it's not only the solution. Like the wife said, you know, on Twitter, that, you know, in fact, he said it emphatically to Governor Sanwo-Olu that I am one of your staff. And he said, she said she's very committed and Governor Sanwo-Olu should do the needful to ensure that, you know, it is not about condemnation, that the perpetrators are brought to justice, that all she's looking forward to see now is justice. She wants to see those people being brought to justice and being decisively dealt with. So it is not about condemnation. If we are condemning, of course, fellow human being, average human being, everybody will want to condemn that. But what happens after the condemnation? And that is the big question.
That's the big one right there. Of course, that story is on the Nigerian News Direct paper. On the Business Day newspaper, the big story is surging wheat prices evoke ditched cassava policy as India bans export of wheat. That story is on page 30, talking about agriculture on the Business Day newspaper. And the Punch, the big story is timetable. INEC talks tough as 18 parties fail to conduct primaries. That big story is on page 2. You can also stay updated on our website. That is www.tostvnetwork.com. And our social media platform, the handle is at TOSTV Network on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Of course, we'll come your way again tomorrow, same time. Thank you so much, Adeboye, for joining us today.
You're welcome.
And thank you, viewers. Do have a wonderful day. See you tomorrow.